Welcome to the D2D Real Estate Show. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is probably more important than the majority of things we're going to talk about. It's about gaining trust. And if you can't gain trust, it's going to be hard for you ever to close a deal. Craig, tell us about trust. Why is trust so important when you're getting to know people, building a relationship, and learning how to gain that trust?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to have much fun in my transaction if my client doesn't trust me and I trust the client. It's just, and we've all been there with that client that decides to not trust you, and it's just completely annoying. So gaining trust makes the transaction happen, but also makes it a lot more fun in the same process. So for me, gaining trust, I like to build upon common experiences in life with other people, and so I do like to have a decent understanding about their background, where they grew up, where they lived, and where sort of just about their life, work, that kind of thing, and build connections in that regard. And they can see that a bridge is formed emotionally between us, and that helps me at least to break down that initial barrier and that wall so that I can have a real relationship with them instead of a business relationship with them. Like, my goal at least is to try to form a personal relationship, like a friendship relationship, and try to get rid of the business relationship.
That's so interesting, because when I think about building trust, I don't think about that. I think about it completely different. I look at it from a business standpoint of how can I get them to trust me, knowing that I'm the best at what I do, and then they're confident in my skill set, and the relationship comes later through the experiences. So that's awesome to hear your view take on that.
Well, but kudos to you, Duane. I mean, I just got to throw you bonus points here. Like, you just met with a builder, and as we all know, builders, when they have listing agents helping them, they're not paying those listing agents 3%. They're not paying those listing brokerages 3%. They're paying them a lot less. And yet I just saw like a handful of listing agreements come across my desk today to sign as a principal broker with your name on it. And they're all 6% listing agreements, and it's all from a builder.
Right.
And it's because you built trust with them in a crazy way.
Well, and I think as you go through and build trust, I think the biggest reason that I'm a little shorter and quicker is time. And as you get to where you're producing at higher levels and doing things a little bit different, it takes time to ask all the personal questions. Mm-hmm. It takes time to engage. Now, that's an awesome quality to have, Craig, because there's not a person in the world that doesn't love you. Huh. And honestly, it's something that's contagious. When people meet with you, you're so genuine. And you gain a lot of deals because of that. So it's interesting to think when you have trust that there can be different elements, but both still work and both still engage. And it's just different people for different ways they do things, and how contagious it is and how it works.
Well, and I think kudos to your strategy so your aspect, when you're saying like building trust, you're talking about you have built up a reputation. And if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this relationship with this builder is not like a long-term relationship that you've fostered over the many, many, many years, but it's one where he has seen enough of your content and online that you've built up a reputation. So there was trust developed based on that, and you were ready to swoop in and then, form that relationship based on his comments were, you're worth it, Duane. You're the expert, but you also had to. I mean, he was trying to negotiate with you on commission,
right? And
you're like, I'm the expert. And he's like, okay, all right. And he just agreed to it on you, or agreed to it with you. But, you had formed your value well enough and your reputation well enough that you were ready to capitalize on that.
I think that just comes from doing volume. But as you look at some examples as you talk about business trust, when I sit down with a client, I say, hey, most agents are going to make you sign a buyer broker agreement before they take you out and show you homes. And the reason they do that is it locks you in to using that brokerage. And now if that agent doesn't perform well, sorry, you can't go to another brokerage. You are locked in. One thing that I do different is I'm not going to make you sign any agreements. I'm going to work hard enough to earn your business. And if I don't work hard enough to earn your business, I don't deserve it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to list a house, the first thing I'm going to do is put in an addendum that if for any reason you're unhappy with what I'm doing, I'll cancel this agreement at any time. Mm-hmm. Now, when people see that and they know you're willing to put your work before a contract, and you're willing to do things, it immediately gains confidence in you as an agent that you're going to do your job or you're not going to make a paycheck.
Yeah.
And so they begin to trust you immediately that way.
So were you using this strategy even when you were newer in real estate?
Brand new. Yep.
Okay, because I think a lot of agents I think hide behind the agreements in terms of like the goal is to get that agreement signed and then okay, I'm done.
Yeah, and I think most brokerages force you to do that because then they're going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if the person is genuine in what they're doing and honest, and I think that's the other way to gain trust, is just be honest. If you're a new agent, say I'm a new agent, but there's not another agent out there that's going to outwork me. There's not another agent that can get you into homes within an hour like I can. There's not another agent out there that is going to perform at the level. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to go ask my principal broker. I'm going to go to Craig because he knows everything. And he is going to tell me exactly what I need to say and how I need to say it. And people respect that. Whereas if you make stuff up, you get caught in lies, you make people sign stuff before they're ready, you push them, you're pushy, you're aggressive, the trust goes out the window.
So what I'm hearing from you is a strong level of confidence that you're delivering to the buyer. Would you say confidence, the way you come across, is that one of your trust building secrets?
For sure. No, I think you really do need to be confident in what you do. Because if you're not confident in what you do, why would they trust you?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're going in to have brain surgery and the doctor's sitting behind the counter and he just keeps flipping his pen and he's shaky and he's sweating to death and he acts like he's never done a brain surgery before. That's the last guy you want to cut you open.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with a house. I mean, this is the biggest real estate investment of money you're ever going to do is buy or sell a house. And if you can't get them to feel like you can do this and you're confident in your abilities, they'll never trust you.
Well, I'll tell you, just to underscore the point you're just bringing up here, I had a agent or a client in the brokerage call me with some concerns about an agent that's representing this client. And as I went back and looked at the dialogue and the communications and things that were happening with this agent and this client, this agent just was not coming across as knowing what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no problem with an agent saying, hey, let me ask this great question. I'm going to ask the broker. I'll be right back in touch. I'm okay with that. But when I was on a group text message thread at one point, and this agent responded, like the client asked a question, I answered it. And then the agent on the group thread said, oh, thanks for clarifying that. I didn't understand that. So right in front of her own clients, undermining her own like professionalism. And I was just thinking in my mind, what is the client thinking right now about this agent? Like this agent's not putting up any kind of confidence or energy or I know what I'm doing and I'm going to take care of you. It's more of like, I'm getting run over and, oh, by the way, here's my broker. He's going to help out. But what kind of long-term relationship is this person going to have with this? Yeah, they won't. Yeah, it's just not going to work.
Craig, tell me this. What kind of knowledge do you think you need to have with a potential client in order to gain their trust? What kind of things do you need to say and how does knowledge play into this?
Well, I would say this, that the real estate agent, even brand new out of like graduating, already has a perceived greater amount of knowledge than the client. The client will perceive that. Now, it's important that agents understand the perception of knowledge is more important than actual knowledge. And so the client needs to perceive that you know more than them at all stages in the process. And so right out of graduating from real estate school, you can be very successful in how you interact with your clients because of the perception of knowledge. But if you don't help, if you can't capitalize on that in your conversations with them, though, you'll quickly undermine yourself in front of them. So you do need to have some really good training. You got to have some really good coaching. You've got to be involved in this kind of engaging in this kind of content that we're providing. And so absorbing that kind of training around you and having good coaches in the process will quickly elevate someone's game to where when they're in front of clients, they're going to be sharp. They're going to be really sharp. So it's possible right out of school to do it. But you've got to have some really solid backing and continued training to be really, really good at it.
I agree. And I think just having statistics, market statistics, knowing that the average interest rate over the last 25 years is 8.1%. The early 80s, we saw 19%. Mm-hmm. Knowing how many homes on the market, knowing that last year in Utah, we appreciated at 28.3%. Early first quarter, we were 19%. Having numbers in your market are huge.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And you can gain this information super easy. And just like you said, Craig, having knowledge of how to do it, when to do it, being coached, guided will help you gain trust quicker than anything. I'm going to go one other different element. Now, this is probably going to be someplace that Craig and I are really, really strong at together, is listening. How does listening to a conversation bring trust from a buyer or seller?
Well, let's use this throughout this phrase. Someone won't care what you know. Let's see. How does that phrase go? They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, I guess, is the right phrase. It took me a second to grab that, but and so that's where I think listening comes into that. And so asking the right questions to really prompt. I mean, you are listening to them, but also asking the right questions so you can understand what they actually need. Instead of assuming what they need will, I think, help you connect with them really, really quickly.
From personal experience, I know as you go through and you ask a bunch of questions, whenever you ask a genuine question and you allow them to speak without cutting them off and care where they're at and that you care about how you're going to accomplish what they need to have done, the trust builds very, very quickly. And it's interesting because by the time I'm done with a lot of the sales that I do, they are like a good friend or family. And I have the worst problem in the world. I can't remember people's names. But I will show up at closing often and have no idea who I'm with. I sold them a house, and I'll have to text my assistant and say, hey, what are these guys' names? But I'll see them at events later. I'll see them, at different places, and they come up, hey, Duane, and I'll have to go, oh, hey, buddy. But the point is I've gained enough trust just by being knowledgeable, taking care of them, asking questions, and it's built a relationship that I constantly have a repeat and referral business every year. And I've only been doing this for 5 years now.
Well, and part of the reason why you don't remember their names is you've built some significant systems around you to help you scale, which involves delegating a lot of tasks to people around you that aren't rainmaking activities. And so when those people are handling those administrative tasks, which honestly is almost the entire transaction, right?
It is.
And they're handling that, so you don't have as much face time with them. You're still going to bat really, really well for them. Like you're negotiating hardcore for them, and you're really getting them what they need. And so where the elements that a really skilled agent need to be there, you're there. So you're there at all those critical junctions, which is why they love you, and they're super happy to see you again. But I think one reason, and this is a whole podcast, it would be a totally different podcast, is what kind of systems you need to put into place to where you could really leverage yourself. But yeah, you've gone to bat big time for them, and you know what they're looking for. You know what their concerns are. You know exactly what they need because you're asking them the questions like, what are you looking for in an agent? Like that simple question. Then you're listening to their response and helping make sure you address those things. Like sure. I asked that question last night I was meeting with a buyer, and I said, I know you're interviewing multiple agents, but what are you actually looking for? And their responses surprised me. And I've been in this business a long time, but it's interesting what was really particular to them, what they were really concerned about.
And I'm sure they did not get that question from any of the other people.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't. No. And what was interesting was once I knew what they needed, I then knew how to close them.
Right.
It became really, really easy at that point.
Absolutely. So I think as Craig was talking about systems to put in place, I don't do any of my own showings. I help put them under contract. Oftentimes it's referral clients or people that I haven't met with yet. So gaining trust quickly is essential. And at that point, my assistants send out all my buyer broker agreements. They send out all my contracts. They send out all the addendums. They schedule the inspection. I will negotiate inspection and appraisal if there's an issue there.
Yeah.
And then literally she schedules closing as well to where I just show up at closing. But you can gain enough trust in that small amount of time that you can build a relationship for life and get them to refer business and come back and do repeat business. Hey guys, thanks for being with us today, learning about trust. Click on the link below and follow some of the things we're going to be teaching on question-based selling that will help you master this art of gaining trust.